If you've been on TikTok or Instagram lately, you've probably seen those viral Find Your Season videos. Someone drapes a blue scarf and suddenly their face lights up. Or a filter tells you that you are a winter and your whole life finally makes sense. Color analysis has had this huge comeback online. But like most things that go viral, what you see on social media is only part of the story. Color analysis can be incredibly powerful, but it can also be frustrating and limiting when you try to use it in real life. I have a pretty unique perspective on this because I studied color analysis over 15 years ago, then spent years as a personal shopper and also as a color consultant, try to apply these theories to my clients' actual wardrobes. And what I discovered is there is this huge gap between what color analysis promises and what actually happens when you try to live with it. Today, I want to share that story. The education, the revelations, and why I eventually had to completely rethink the whole color analysis approach. Let me start with my education because that was pretty intense. So I went to school in Milan and took 3 extensive courses over 6 months. Image consulting for women, which is basically color analysis plus body analysis, personal shopping, and also an image consulting for men because that is a completely different system. I got super lucky with my teacher for color analysis. She is such a color guru with 40 years of experience, and I've learned a lot from her. Our classes were structured with 4 hours of theory in the morning, learning about colors, undertones, and all this theoretical stuff about colors. And then the rest of the 4 hours we were practicing with colored drapes on real people. Not photographs, but actual people sitting next to you. Because you need to train your eye, and you can only do that through tons of practice. And just so you know, now the color analysis courses happen mostly online and last 3 days with maybe 2 hours of learning. I have no idea how it's possible to learn this nuanced technique of color analysis in such a short amount of time without any practice and without a mentor standing next to you. Anyway, back to my story. One day, my teacher noticed that I also took the personal shopping course, and she asked me, "So, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a color consultant or a personal shopper?" And I said, "Do I actually need to choose? Can't I just combine them two?" She thought about it and she said, "Well, I think it can be done, but I never could do it. I try to do personal shopping with clients after color consultations, but it's just way too hard finding the right items in shops, dealing with people in their personal spaces. I preferred the theory of style." And that phrase, theory of style, really stuck with me. Because what she was saying is that color analysis and body shape systems are just theories. And there is always a possibility that theory will not fit practice. I, of course, didn't fully get it at first, but later, when I started working with clients on my own, I did. Theory gives you a framework. Practice means stepping into stores, facing what's available, and trying to make it all work with what you already have for your life. And that's very different. That's when I really understood the disconnect. I think not a lot of people know that most color consultants are theorists who have never actually styled anyone beyond maybe themselves and their family members. They are not fashion stylists. They are not practicing color matching in real life for different people with different lifestyles. So when they say something like, you need a blazer in this shade of brown, that's a very vague suggestion. They don't know your style, they don't know your lifestyle, they don't even know what kind of blazer will fit your body. Or they might say you can wear green with pink together. But how do you actually work with that in your real wardrobe? That's not something most color consultants can tell you. Here's another thing. Traditional color analysis focuses on one color at a time. But think about how you actually get dressed. Most outfits aren't one color. They are 2, 3, 4 colors. Sometimes we also add patterns. So it's not enough to know which individual colors look good next to your face. You need to know how those colors work together in an outfit. That's where real styling happens, in the relationships between colors. And this is where those viral social media posts really miss the mark. They show the exciting moment of discovery, I'm winter, but they don't show what comes after. At first, there is excitement. You finally know your colors, you feel like you have the secret code. But then reality sets in. You go shopping and those exact shades don't exist in stores. Or the items you buy don't match what you already own. And that's when confusion creeps in. Did I get the wrong palette? Why doesn't this work? And because the system is framed in such limiting yes or no terms, that confusion often turns into guilt. I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone telling me, embarrassed, I know I'm not supposed to wear black, but I love black. And finally, regret. Closets full of technically correct colors that don't add up to real outfits. Money spent, but you still have nothing to wear. And this is why theory without practice doesn't work. On paper, the palette is neat, but in real life, it can create more stress than freedom. And at some point in my career, I realized that there is always going to be a transitional period when you change your colors. You can't just flip your wardrobe overnight. And if that process feels too overwhelming, people lose the very excitement they felt when they discovered their colors. So I had to figure out a system that made the transition easier. One that kept that initial joy alive while making it step by step and practical. And this is exactly why I've created the Wonder Wardrobe Studio Plus. Because learning about your colors and your body shape in theory is one thing, but the real challenge is how to use it in your everyday wardrobe. In Studio Plus, we do it together. I guide you step by step through your color type, your body proportions, your style vision, and then we make it practical. You will see how to use your current clothes, how to wear the shades you already own in your wardrobe, even if they're not yet perfect, and how to curate a versatile wardrobe that finally feels nice instead of confusing. The next fall group begins in October, and spots are limited. If you would like priority access plus a bonus workshop to help you prepare, join the waitlist at wonder-wardrobe.com/studio. I will also leave the link in the show notes, or if you're watching me on YouTube, it will be in the description of this video. When I started working on the Wonder Wardrobe method, I knew that I had to rethink palettes completely. Instead of usual 15 random shades, I created bigger palettes, 40 colors per type. I added more neutral colors and also more shades of each color family. This was my thinking. The more color possibilities you see, the more style possibilities you see. Because, for example, if your style is minimalist and you prefer neutral colors, a tiny spring palette full of bright yellows, oranges, and apple greens is going to feel wrong. You will reject it immediately. But if you see a wider palette with neutrals and subtle shades alongside the brights, suddenly it feels usable. I also made sure that everything in each palette works together, so all colors match really well. So when you add a new color to your wardrobe, it connects to the rest of your clothes instead of sitting alone. Once you know your colors, that's just the beginning. The real work is figuring out how to actually use them with what you already own. So start there, look at your current wardrobe and ask, what colors repeat most often? Which ones never get worn? Which colors are within your color palette type and which ones aren't? That's your starting point. From there, you can adjust. Sometimes you can keep a wrong color but wear it differently. Add accessories in your right colors, layer it with better shades. Sometimes you add just one new color, one new item that suddenly makes the rest of your wardrobe work better. In Studio Plus, I actually show examples for each color type of how to wear their wrong colors while they are in this transitional phase. That's practice. That's the part theory doesn't teach you. Because let's be honest, you are not throwing out half of your wardrobe. That's just crazy. Let me talk about subtypes for a minute. They became popular in the 90s because the original system only showed photographs of white women. They completely excluded women of color. So creating subtypes to be more inclusive was necessary. But in reality, the difference between subtypes are tiny between their palettes. It's mostly about contrast level, whether your outfit should have more contrast or less contrast. The actual colors are almost the same. So the difference isn't in what shades you can wear, but how you wear them, with how much contrast and depth. That's why I didn't divide into subtypes in my method. Even if you get the contrast wrong, but still choose the right colors near your face, you are still going to look amazing. The difference isn't that obvious. I think also color should be flexible and personal. During a color consultation, we cannot possibly show you all the possible shades that suit you because there are so many of them. We show you the most representative ones, but you can go lighter and darker, softer and brighter. It's all quite flexible. There is another problem too. Traditional color analysis treats color and style as separate things. And they are not. They need to merge. Color doesn't just make you look fresher. It's also one of the most powerful creative tools we have. And style is also very important. It's all about your favorite aesthetics, the silhouette, the design elements you are drawn to, and how you put things together. Let me give you an example. Traditionally, earthy palettes are considered warm. Browns, oranges, maroons. But what if you love that aesthetic, but you are a cool color type, winter or summer? Traditional color analysis tells you, sorry, you can't have it. But that's not true. I've built earthy palettes using only cool colors. You can use cool shades of olive, cool grays, muted blues. They give the same grounded aesthetic without breaking the undertone rules. If you're curious, you can see the video with that earthy palette in the Wonder Wardrobe app in the capsule gallery. When color and style work together with that kind of flexibility, that's when you create your best outfits. And honestly, I think playfulness matters more than rules. So those viral TikToks that make color analysis feel like magic, they are not wrong. Understanding your colors can be transformative. I love my colors. I love my palette. I love wearing my colors. I love matching colors from my palette. I think that's powerful. But we need to stop treating it like a rigid system that controls your entire wardrobe. The best outfit isn't just the one in your perfect shade. It's the one that also fits well, matches your style, and makes you feel beautiful. That's when the color becomes powerful. When it's used playfully, when it's personalized. So if you had your colors done and you are feeling restricted, give yourself permission to bend the rules. If you haven't had it done yet and you are curious, try it. But remember, it's just one piece of a puzzle. Because real style doesn't live in theory, it lives in practice, in the everyday choices you make and the way you make them yours. As always, I'm Daria, your guide into conscious style shifting. I'll see you on our next styling adventure.